sometimes you'll be presented with an expression that has what we call like terms. So, like terms are pieces of an expression that look the same. Right? So they both have an x in them, or they both have a y in them. Right? So just like a quick example, like an x and a y, those are not like terms. But a 2x and a 3x, those are like terms because the variable on them is exactly the same. Right? There may be another coefficient, a different coefficient on them, but they can still be combined together. Whereas an x and an x squared are not like terms, right? Because they're not exactly the same variable expression, just with a different coefficient. So what we're looking for is things that are the same variable expressions with different coefficients or constants like 5 and 7. Those are like terms as well. So we would be able to combine those together also. So the way I like to do this when I'm looking at an expression is just to underline the things that have the same variable expressions or that are all constants. So in 3x plus 7x, the 3x and the 7x both have an x. So I'll underline them both once. And then the constant, negative 5, I'll underline twice. So everything that I underline once should be a like term, and I should just combine those together. So 3x and 7x added together, 3 and 7, makes 10x. And I didn't have anything to combine with the minus 5, so that'll just stay as minus 5. So we have 10x minus 5. When I look at the next one, we have a negative 2x. We also have a positive 4x. So I'll underline each of those once. There's no other pieces of that expression that have an x in them. And then as far as constants, I have a plus 5 and a plus 6. So I'll underline each of those twice so that I know that those ones will go together. So negative 2x plus 4x makes a positive 2x because negative 2 plus 4 is 2. And the variable expression stays the same, the x stays there. And then a positive 5 plus 6 is 11. So negative 2x plus 5 plus 4x plus 6 can be simplified to 2x plus 11. And down here in the bottom one, we have a negative 8x and a minus 3x. Those will go together. And we'll have a plus 4 and a minus 6. So negative 8x minus 3 more x should be negative 11x. If you have trouble with the negative 8 minus 3, just think about it. If you owe me $8 and you then borrow 3 more, now you owe me 11, negative 11x. Then the plus 4, right, and the minus 6, well, 4 minus 6 is just negative 2. So those should combine to make a minus 2. So negative 8x plus 4 minus 3x minus 6 simplifies down to negative 11x minus 2. So now we're going to look at a couple of more complicated ones. We still need to go through and we need to underline all of the like terms. So in the top one, we'll start with this xy. X times y is one variable expression. It's x and y together, right? And so if we look, are there any other places in this expression where there's an x times a y? And the answer is yeah, there's another one right next to it, the 5xy. So those are like terms. If we continue looking along at the plus 4, the minus 9, the plus x, minus 3y, and plus 6x, none of those have both an x and a y being multiplied together. So those are the only two xy terms. Then we'll move on to the plus 4, which is a constant. And we can see that right next to it is another constant, but the rest of the way down, there are no constants. We have an x, a minus 3y, and a plus 6x. So we'll move to the x. I'm going to underline the x 3 times. And if I look along, the minus 3y is not a like term, but the plus 6x is. So I'll underline that 3 times to know those go together. And then this one, my 3y is its own separate thing. So we'll just have that off at the end. So xy plus 5xy this first piece that we're looking at here should become 6xy because I had 1xy and I added 5 to it. So normally, and then I'll go through and I'll kind of just cross those out once I've done them. And then we've got the plus 4 and the minus 9 right here that have 2 underlines on them. So 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So minus 5. Then we've got a plus x and a plus 6x. Well, if you add those together, you should get plus 7x. Cross that out. And lastly, I just have the minus 3y. And so we've combined all of the like terms. We had 7 terms to begin with, and now we've simplified it down to just 4. So for the one below here, I'll start with 3x squared, and I'll underline that once, and I'll go through and look at each term and see if there are any that just have an x squared in them. So as I go along, negative 5y doesn't, 3xy doesn't, 6 doesn't, minus 2x squared does though, so we'll underline that once. And as I look along the rest of the way, 4xy, minus 2y, plus x, and plus 8, no more x squareds. So we just have the 3x squared and the minus 2x squared to combine. Then we'll look at minus 5y. As I look along, the only other like term with the minus 5y is a minus 2y, so it'll also be underlined twice. Then I will look for my 3xy. The only other like term there is the 4xy. Then we'll look at the constant, plus 6. Get that 4 underlines. We have a constant over here of plus 8. And then lastly, the only thing that's left, make sure you don't leave anything out, is a plus x. So there was no other like terms for that. So we'll start with the ones that are underlined once. 3x squared minus 2x squared. 3 minus 2 is just 1. So that'll just be 1x squared, or x squared. Then we've got minus 5y and minus 2y. Well, minus 5, and then if you subtract another 2, would be minus 7y. We have a positive 3xy and a positive 4xy that I've underlined 3 times. 3 and 4 is 7, so plus 7xy. We've got a plus 6 and a plus 8. Underlined 4 times. 6 and 8 is 14. And lastly, the only thing we haven't crossed out is our plus x. So we've simplified that down. And if you've already learned how to distribute, you can see that a lot of the problems that involve distributing will then involve combining like terms afterwards. So we'll do a couple of those. So as we know, to distribute, we just multiply the number outside the parentheses to both things inside. So 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times negative 5 is minus 15. We'll do the same here. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 3 is 6. And a common thing people forget is after they've done the distributing, they sometimes forget to write what's still left there. So we still have a plus 4x. So now we'll combine the like terms. I'm going to underline my 12x, my 2x, and my 4x once because they each have an x. And my constants I'll underline twice. So now when I combine them, 12x plus 2x is 14x. Plus 4 more x is going to be 18x. And I have a minus 15 and a plus 6. Well, negative 15 plus 6 is negative 9. So we'll get 18x minus 9 as our final simplified answer. Okay, so we'll do one more right below, and then that should be good on combining like terms. Negative 2 times 6x, right, we'll do the distributed first, gives us negative 12x. Negative 2 times 5 gives us minus 10. And we have to be careful again with a minus 3 out in front here. So minus 3 times negative 5x is going to be a positive 15x because it's a negative 3 times a negative 5x, right? Negative times negative gives you positive. And then negative 3 times positive 7 will be minus 21 plus 2x minus 6. Don't forget the terms there at the end. And now I'm going to go through and use my same underlining process. Negative 12x, 15x, and 2x should all go together. And negative 10, negative 21, and negative 6 should all go together. And as I combine the like terms with the x's, negative 12 plus 15 is 3, and 3 plus 2 is 5, so we'll get 5x. And we have negative 10 minus 21 will now be negative 31, and negative 31 minus 6 is going to be minus 37. So our final answer here is 5x minus 37. And so that's how we combine like terms. I suggest you underline each of the different types so that it's easier to find them when you're combining them together, or cross them out as you go. Make sure that everything gets crossed out when you combine them all. Otherwise, you're leaving something out. And you'll often have to do this after you do a bunch of distributing work like we did on these last two. If you're not sure how to do distributing, there's a video for distributing posted as well, and so you can get some extra practice with that.